The following podcast is brought to you by Radio WICV. To learn more information about us, visit us at radiowicv.com in the description below. Thank you, and enjoy. What's up, everybody? This is Joey from Joey's Super Cool Food Reviews. I'm back! No, you wish. In all sincerity, hey everyone, it's Eli Copperman back at it again with another interviewee. This week in particular is a classmate of mine, specifically from my stop motion class, Titilayo.
My name is Titilayo Ogunduyilemi.
Yes. So, Titilayo, you and I have known each other for about a couple months at this point.
About 8 weeks.
Yeah, 8 weeks to 2 months, about that. At least at the time this is recorded. Within just 2 years, we'll have officially become king and queen of the earth. Or something like that.
Possibly. I intend on ruling the world.
you gotta do it before Bob Iger does it first.
I wish I knew who that was.
Disney CEO.
Oh, Disney. I just want to rule the world in a different way. Disney is corrupt.
Yeah. Sorry, Mickey. That's just what the rules say. Anyway, okay, so my first question to you is, what got you interested in animation as a medium to pursue?
What interests me in animation has, been a part of my life for a long time, and that is SpongeBob SquarePants. I was initially interested in animation via that show, and then I watched The Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy, and Ben 10. I'm a Cartoon Network connoisseur, and
Nice.
Adventure Time. But what really pushed me as into animation as something I could do for my life, like my career, was the 2009 stop motion animated film Coraline. I was enamored by the movie. The movie was scary. It was well done. It was masterful, and it encouraged me to read the book too. So that's why I'm into animation.
Yeah.
Animation is an excellent way to get a story told.
I think Coraline was the first movie that really made me appreciate animation as not just an art form, but as just something that can tackle so many different genres. And it was one of the first movies that actually shut me up in the theater. Like, I didn't speak at all. I was just... I was shocked by it, even though I loved it.
Weren't you 7?
I was 9. 7? Oh, God. Okay, so which is your favorite form of animation to work with? Stop motion, 2D, 3D, or what have you?
2D is my favorite animation medium. There's so much you can do with 2D animation. Stop motion has its highlights, but it's a little complicated, and 3D is definitely complicated. As I've been saying, I'd rather draw the treasure chest instead of model it, and it's nothing to people that do 3D, but that's just me. I love 2D.
Yeah. Although even at that, 2D can be very complicated, especially when it comes to drawing characters or backgrounds in different perspectives. And, it's one thing to draw that's hard enough. But having to move it, frame by frame, that's very painstaking. And obviously it's painstaking in any medium, but with stop motion and the 3D, you do have the models so that you can rotate around to a degree, whereas the 2D, you have to keep drawing them again and again.
Mm-hmm.
But, it depends on the artist at the end of the day. My favorite's 2D, but stop motion I also love and adore, and 3D has been growing so much over the past 20 years.
Well, as I like to say, 2D is the best way to get carpal tunnel because it truly highlights how hard you work.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, 2D is painstaking, but I enjoy the pain.
Oh, yeah. I think, as the old saying goes, and I don't even know who said this, pain is gain.
Yeah, I wish I knew who said that too. I should be more well-read, but I'm not.
Yeah, we're art students. What do you expect?
I'm definitely not good at math.
Well, you're an animation student.
Not good at math.
You gotta count.
Oh, yeah. That's all you need, though. You need addition and subtraction and a little bit of division. You don't need, calculus.
Right. Just basic math. Not even, high school level, really.
You don't need to learn Pythagorean theorem in animation.
Yeah, that is true. Okay, so in terms of specific genres to tell stories, you seem to have a fond interest in horror and dark fantasy, as I've seen from your own work. So why do you in particular gravitate towards this method of storytelling?
Well, this is a weird way to answer the question, but I took a sports ethics course at my previous college that I transferred from to here, and there was this passage in the book that said that, like, if we did not have sports, people would be on edge all the time. People would be more violent and aggressive towards each other. We might even, be more likely to press a nuclear button to end us all, that sort of thing. People would just be wired. So the reason why football, soccer, and, those sports are very important, why they happen yearly like that, the Olympics and stuff, so that people can get their animalistic urges out.
Right.
So, like, I'm trying to tie this into, like, horror and stuff. We actually need to be frightened. It gets our adrenaline up. And, horror, we mimic what we see on the screen. So if the main character is frightened, we are. If the main character is looking over his shoulder, we suddenly feel the need that we have to. And I feel like horror speaks to the body. And so I like horror because, it's just very multifaceted, because a lot of people are scared by a lot of different things. And there's always like a niche. There's always like, even though horror is like a broad like genre, there are some movies that are for niche audiences that really get the point across. So I like horror for that reason, and there's the fact that I really like when there is suffering in life, because a lot of people create things where suffering is like an afterthought, but I believe that life should be, exhibited in all its forms: the happiness, the sadness, the madness, the suffering, the pain, the pleasure. I believe that, and horror generally encompasses all of those things, because the character's not suffering all of the time.
No.
But when they are suffering, suffering, they're suffering.
In that sense, would you prefer to tell horror stories to a younger audience or an older audience?
I feel a little bit like, I feel like it can be mixed. Have you ever heard of the show Over the Garden Wall?
I love that show.
Yeah.
5 years old.
Yeah, and it was great. It was a limited series, but like that's all it needed to be. And like it still stands, tall. It still stands on its own 2 feet. And even though 5 years ago I wasn't 22, I was a little bit younger, I could watch it over and over, and it still resonates with me. The cinematography in that show was really interesting. Some of the shots where they lingered a little too long on something, the shading, the lighting, it was great. So I feel like my stories, in the right like context and with a little bit toning down of certain aspects, my stories can be told to a younger audience. But I feel like my stories are definitely more like mature themed. I don't want to be constrained by a younger audience.
That makes sense. Yeah, I feel that. And when I look at something like Over the Garden Wall, it does make me think of classic fairy tales, especially with like the artistry and the illustration. The colors are very neutralized. There's a lot of good emphasis on like the, not medieval, but like the, how would you describe it, like 18th century, 19th century Midwestern folklore environment. And especially that in the sense that you don't even know like where the series takes place until much later on, and even then you still don't know, but that's what makes it intriguing.
Yeah, and the thing is that like Over the Garden Wall, you were never really able to answer the question if like, were they dreaming? Did they hit themselves on the head? Did they simply just go into the forest, and was it always, was that world always in this particular forest? Like, that surreal nature of it, that I think that's what prevented it from being so frightening, because it seemed like at the end you woke up.
Yeah. You never know if it was a dream, you never know if it was reality, but in the end you don't need to know. You just got to experience it.
Oh, yeah.
To anyone who's listening to this, if you have not seen Over the Garden Wall, please do so. You are doing yourself a disservice by not.
It's a classic. Well, it will be in the next 40 years. So get on it now.
Exactly. It's got to become the next cult thing. Even with Infinity Train out, just bring back Garden Wall. Well, the love, not the series. Don't tell Cartoon Network that. Okay, so my next question is, prior to learning about animation, you were interested in psychology. So why did you decide to switch over to a different field of study?
I switched over for 2 reasons. I did not want to be in school because the thing is, psychology is very intensive. Anybody who tells you that you can get a bachelor's in psychology and live your life to the fullest is lying to you. They're not telling the truth. for you to be successful in psychology, because people are demanding a master's or a PhD now, I would have had to have been in school for 8 years, like the whole process. I would need to get my bachelor's, then my master's, and then my PhD, just so I could be able to make $89,000 a year. So that's one reason why I was just like, I don't want to be in school for 8 years, because I was already in high school and, you know, middle school and elementary school, and that took up 13 years of my life. So I did not want to be in school that long. And to be honest with you, the schools that I had applied to for psychology, that did not give me like enough scholarship money. So I had decided that, like, you know, I'm not sure I want to do this anyway. Why not just go to community college and get the majority of my credits? So that's what I decided to do. I originally wanted to be a criminal profiler or a behavioral psychologist, but you know, I still have an interest in those things, and just because I'm an animator doesn't mean that my interest has fallen short. So I still do research. I'm trying to be more, I'm trying to study into it, but I don't have to go to school for it. I'm not going to make my life like revolve around it. I can still learn on my own time, but animation is where my passion is. I love creating characters. I have several stories to tell.
That's a good way to put it. And actually, going back to the psychology thing, my mother's a psychologist, but she kind of retrained later on in her life, and by that it was around the time that she got married to my father. I think she was even still going to school while she was pregnant with my sister, and after a while the painful struggles to get through it had her break down saying, I can't do this, and my father said, good, stay there, now breathe. And she succeeded in the end, and now she's a really professional psychologist. I don't know when her last day will be, but I really hope it's not anytime soon, because she helps a lot of people out, and she's very caring to others. And it just makes me think now, like, had you decided to do psychology and go to college, you could have done it later in life. But even then, like, as you stated, you don't need to. Just do it on your own.
Yeah, and I already pick a few people's brains and stuff. Sometimes people are really going through trial and tribulation, and I just have this way of like asking the right like questions, because some people, there's this thing that I have against dishonesty. Oh, yeah. Half of the time I believe that people have the problems that they have because they're being completely dishonest with themselves. So
I know quite a few people like that, none of whom I'd like to talk about.
Yeah. Yeah, same here. So it's just like, I don't know, I feel like if people were more honest with themselves, they'd lend themselves to be a little bit happier. So I can psychoanalyze you without a degree. Just don't trust everything I have to say. But I can get you to the point where you will come to the understanding that you might need a real therapist. So yeah, come to me if you have any problems. I'm not particularly judgmental. I tell it to you like how it is, because I'm a very honest person, you know, but I'm also an animator, so hire me. Hire me to like, I don't know, animate like what's going on in your head perhaps.
Well, if you're going to get into the industry, sometimes honesty isn't always the best answer when it comes to working conditions.
Working conditions, in what way?
Well, I'd rather not go into detail, but just be warned for the future if upper management takes over.
For management? Well, of course, I'll bow down to the people that pay me. Like, I'm not about to flippantly, like, go off or, like, say, like, hey, listen, you suck at your job. I should do it. I was passed over for the promotion. That's not how it works. I'll get fired that way. I'm very intelligent. I'm intelligent.
all brains. I'd rather someone have brain than brawn.
Oh, yeah. Same here. That's been a trope for years.
Exactly. A storytelling trope, no less.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so with that said and done, my next question is, this has to do with you being a transfer student, so that means your degree plan schedule here, it's structured a little bit differently from what the general students here take. Like, you can, like, come in here at a certain grade level, but that would all depend on how many of your credits would get in. So have you ever felt that, like, you being a transfer student here, did you ever felt that contrasted you in any way from others with the usual 4-year plan?
Not particularly, no. I did feel sort of alienated from peers that were not freshmen when I came here, because freshmen accepted me with open arms, because I believe that I had 2 classes where the dominant group were freshmen and stuff, so nobody really knew each other, so I got the chance to like to know them and stuff. But I feel like the slightly upperclassmen, like the sophomores and the juniors that were in my field and stuff, I wasn't really able to get to know them because they had already like established relationships for like a year now if you were a sophomore, or 2 years at that point if you were a junior. My math might be off, I'm not good at it, but like do you get what I'm saying? So like I didn't really feel like my credits transferring the way that they did was the problem per se. It was just like not being able to really sort of dig deep with some of my peers because they had already established connections. And even though people were friendly, I could sort of tell that I was never going to really be in their friend group.
Your relationship with them was more civil than what's the word I'm thinking of? Mutual, right?
Oh yeah, and like I actually made some transfer friends like the first year that I got here and stuff.
Same here.
Yeah, I did. But like even then, like they say the transfers have this strange mentality where it's just like been there, done that. I'll just keep to myself. So it was still kind of hard to like really fraternize with the transfer students that transferred because like they're just like I'm just here to get my stuff done, So yeah, so that was pretty interesting. What was the question again?
How did you ever feel like you being here as a transfer student and like you have a different degree plan that contrasted you with like the usual 4-year students?
Oh, well then definitely no. I know some people now that are like real seniors because they've been here for 4 years. They are graduating in the spring, and that is totally fine. Not that I won't miss them, but like I'm not gonna be upset about it. Like, hoorah! Like you did it. Like that's great. Like be gone with you and stuff. My time is coming. Like my time is almost here, so I'll be gone too. We're all leaving together at some point, exactly. And that's what I look forward to. The fact that some of them may be leaving in the spring, that just means their lives are gonna start sooner, and that's fine. I get to enjoy being a student a little bit longer, but they get to really figure it out for themselves, and that takes a lot of bravery, and that takes a lot of like tenacity. Like some people crack in school, but like when it's the real world, it's tough.
You're gonna crack a lot in the real world, I think.
Yeah.
But school is a really good way to start out. Not that you necessarily need school to get a good career, as proof by say Chuck Jones, but at the same time, it is important that you understand the crux of obtaining such a big position as art. Some artists don't even succeed well, so just be aware of that.
Yeah. Yeah, there's that.
Oh God. The future scares me more than anything. I apologize.
Well, we've got to take it a day at a time.
Exactly.
And that's the only thing we can do, because we're going to be wishing we had took it a day at a time when we're 40. So, like, whatever is going to happen will happen to you.
I feel like one day when I'm 55, I'm in a car in traffic, and I think, oh, fuck, I should have done that. Shit, maybe I should have done this.
What's funny is that even at 55, you may live to be 100, so you still can.
You're right. You're absolutely right. There's
Mm-hmm.
always healing to be done. There's always new stuff to do. And even if you have a full-time job, just go to freaking Puerto Rico or something.
Yeah, you don't have to be young and beautiful to fit in that bikini or in those Speedos. Like, do whatever you want to do. Be you.
Just live like Larry.
Yeah, and keep growing, because that's what lobsters fucking do.
Any fish grows. There's plenty of fish out in the sea. Oh, God. Okay, we got 5 more questions to go. So, as of now, you're currently working on your thesis project while simultaneously doing other studio classes, as plenty of our classmates know. So, how has that affected you in terms of time management?
Well, I'm actually not working on my thesis yet. I'm not on track to work on thesis. I'll be working on thesis next semester. So
Okay.
it's keeping in and don't feel bad about it, because usually people associate senior with thesis. So like
Right.
don't fault him, guys. Like that's why I said like y'all be graduating in the spring. Y'all shit is like on luck, but like mine, I still like a baby. I still got this semester to deal with before I get like full throttle and stuff.
Right.
But like I'm not actually working on my thesis at the moment, but I am coming up with like ideas, and I'm torn between a few of them. There are some people that may be listening to this that understand that I have a mild obsession with bunny rabbits, and I had
Had to bring in the bunnies.
I had this one project that I did for Principles Animation called Into the Rabbit Hole. It's available on Vimeo.com, and like if you type it in, you may not be able to find it, but if you look for Levi Ackerman, and like you'll see my face. If you know what I look like, you'll see me as one of the people listed, and that's where you can click on it. But it's about a little girl being hunted by a bunny rabbit wielding a bow and arrow, and it's not a happy ending. So, I'm thinking that, like, for my thesis, I could potentially do a continuation of that, because this little girl who's, the happy ending is not there, somebody was waiting for her to get back home from picking those apples. So I was thinking about continuing it. I have another idea for my thesis about a skeleton that finds a baby in a trash can, and he decides to raise this baby. The skeleton, mind you, is the Grim Reaper. And I'm already doing a little snippet of this story in my stop motion class, but 2D is the medium that I work in. So I would totally make it a 2D animated film, and it would be like 5 minutes, and the message of that story would be like, people are often afraid of death. Even if you say that you're not, like, there's always some fear there. People who say that, like, I'm accepting of, like, life and death, but, like, no, that's not the case.
Honestly, I don't think people would really accept their life if they didn't fear death.
Yeah, and so, I kind of want to play with that. I want this baby who otherwise would have died, ironically, being rescued by the Grim Reaper to raise. I want this baby to, like, live its life, grow up and grow old, get married, have kids, and the Grim Reaper is still there because that's her father. He loves her and she loves him, and she's not afraid of him. She never has been. And so when it's her time for her soul to be taken to either, where it needs to go and stuff, I want her to be accepting of the fact, because, she doesn't need to fear death. He's always been there. And that's what life is. That's what life is, knowing that death is coming. And that doesn't have to be a negative thing. So I kind of want to do, like, I was thinking about that. I mean, hey, if you guys know me, maybe you can give me some tips. Like, which one do you like more? So,
I want to see the girl get reunited with her father. I want to see the father kill the daughter. And I want to see the freaking skeleton dance reanimated by you.
So, like, if you know me, those are two ideas that I have. Otherwise, yeah, I'm not working on my thesis right now, but I am in some pretty intensive classes. I'm in stop motion, and that class is really kicking my ass. But I love it, actually. I was interested in Coraline's, like, I'm doing what they're doing, like, low key. But, like, I'm in stop motion. I'm also in 2D character animation. This class is helping me because my characters had a problem, like, being really stiff. And I'm working on a dialogue assignment right now, and I'm choosing dialogue from Fight Club because, if you know me, I'm about that action. So, like, that's what my dialogue is going to be back, and there's going to be a lot of character movement and stuff. I'm in professional practice for animators. I have a business card now, and guess what's on the business card? It's a rabbit wielding a bow and arrow. So, you see how it's going?
The first thing about the bunny business card is you don't talk about the bunny business card.
Yes, even that's funny. Fight Club. But yeah, so the classes are pretty intense, and, like, I'm losing sleep over them. That's where my honesty comes in. But, like, I don't know. I'm kind of, like, in a lull right now where, like, I'm terrified of putting forth something, and then, like, I can't help but have a story in my head already. So I'm still learning. I'm still growing as an animator, as an artist. So it's tentative and it's tough, but I'm getting through it.
Great answer, honestly.
Yeah.
So much honesty.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Next, do you have any advice for aspiring animation students who will end up spending a whole year working on their ambitious senior projects?
Yes, I do. Listen, time management is your best friend. Whatever medium of animation you choose, time management is super important. And, this is something that I have to get back into. I had a horrible storyboarding experience. One professor that isn't here right now, he made the experience terrible for me, and it frightened me, and I don't storyboard anymore. I just do straight ahead animation because I feel like I can't trust myself to do it. But storyboarding is very important. I would storyboard, and if you draw characters, if you're the type of person that likes to draw characters, draw them. Draw them in your free time. Fill up your book with your characters, because get this, I went to a Cartoon Network information session, and they didn't even look at our demo reels. the two people that came so that we could get an interview, right? It was the information session was there just so that like they could pick you to get an interview, and like they didn't even look at our demo reels. So like the animators were just like and you know, I could possibly be wrong. There may have been a few people that were animation majors that got it, but from what I heard, the majority of people who got a conversation, an interview, were like illustrators, the people that focused on like, you know, still objects like storyboards and like character and prop design and stuff, you know. So it's just like, listen, even though the classes are kind of like putting you all over the place, if you have an idea of where your niche might be, focus on it. If you like designing props, make sure that your portfolio like says that. If you like designing characters, make sure that your portfolio like is covered in characters, covered in them, and not just like characters facing this way. Like make them do the turnaround thing because they want to see that. And storyboard, and write. And if you're not good at writing, take a class here at Micah to get you there, because people actually, you know, contrary to what you may or may not have been told. I know I was told that people don't give a shit about, you know, what you have to say unless you're pitching a cartoon. But like, no, you might be on a show, but you're writing an episode, you know, you're co-writing an episode. So write. If you suck at writing now, you're going to get better at it in 4 years. So keep doing it. And if you make comics, make them. Do everything simultaneously. Focus on your classes, but make sure you got some still imagery in there, okay? Just focus it and come to terms with like who you are. If you are, you know, if it's 3 years in and your animations are not looking up to par, like you don't think your animations are going to get you anywhere, but your storyboards are damn good, maybe you should think about pre-production in terms of like, you know, a career. Or if you're really good at, you know, coloring stuff after it's finished, if you can do that in like 6 minutes when it might take somebody 8 hours, like maybe you want to be a colorist. If you're good at backgrounds, my God, maybe choose that. Focus on that. Like, know yourself, and everything will turn out the way it's supposed to be.
Always have a backup plan.
Yes.
Great fucking answer. At the end of the day, whatever ideas you may have will be the biggest thing of all.
Yeah, and never stop creating. I know that it's tough with all the reboots and remakes and stuff, but like, listen, there's always an audience out there for you and your stuff, okay?
Always.
Just because Disney may be milking the reboot and the remake cash flow doesn't mean that like people are not going to want to see original things. So don't get discouraged.
Exactly. All right. So my next question is, who would you say has helped push you beyond your limits to make the best content you can make at this school? Who would you say like really just pushed you up to 11?
You mean in terms of like a classmate?
Classmate, teacher, whoever.
To be honest with you, I don't think anybody has, and it's not a slight to the people that know me that, you know, are in my major or anything, and like it's not a slight to the teachers who may or may not be listening. I don't think anybody's really like encouraged me or like really inspired me like too much, people that I've actually had. So I just would like to say that per se, but there is one person that inspires me that I've never taken a class with and stuff, and his name is Professor Yzma and stuff. Like he's just like such a positive like person. Like he's so excited, he's so friendly. Like, you know, my friend is taking a class with him and stuff, and like I've never taken a class with this man, but like just being around his like energy and like his wit and like, you know, how he wants you to be better and stuff. Like I said, I've never taken a class with him, but like I've sat in several of his classes to finish up work that I was doing for the dreaded Jackie Ross, and like, you know, listen, I'm gonna attach my name to it, sorry, but like yeah, like his energy, that raw like you can do it spirit, we need more teachers like Yzma, not just here but like everywhere. So like my classmates and stuff, I love feeding on their energy. Like I'm like an energy vampire. Like my classmates inspire me, but no one has inspired me to the point where like I would give them like a mention here per se. I mean, you all are like great and well-rounded and stuff, and you all are going to like do famous like things. All of y'all are going to be famous and everything, but like I feel like the person that pushes me the most is myself, because I'm in constant competition with myself. I don't want to bring up Cardi B, but like she's like, I'm my own competition, I'm competing with myself. Like I fucking believe that, because it's anxiety that gets me down. Like nobody ever tells me that my work is shit. It's my brain that's doing it for me, so I've got to prove myself wrong.
Well said. Yeah, I think at the end of the day, you're your own worst critic, so it's good to hear advice from others. But at the same time, if you also believe that, okay, you know what, maybe this isn't as bad as I thought, then you'll definitely get there.
Yeah, that's what I intend on doing. And the thing is, you know, if I was so inspired by somebody else's work that I allowed it to like cloud my judgment. If there was a person on this campus who I like wanted to be, I wouldn't be me for one, and I would probably just get depressed that I could never do what they do. But you know, that same person that I'm holding on a pedestal probably is looking at their work and it's just like, well, you know, I'm never gonna be like so and so. Nah, this is not a circle jerk cycle of like sadness, like and like, you know, depression and anxiety. Like no, like we are our own worst critics and we are our own competition.
Exactly.
That is the most thing. You can be inspired, but like if you don't have the drive to like inspire yourself, then I don't know what to tell you, dude. What will happen when that motivation goes away? What'll happen? Will you just stop animating? Will you just crawl in a hole? Like, you have to compete with yourself.
What are you gonna do in your life at this point? Just work at Chipotle?
Yeah, you have to compete with yourself because you have to live with yourself.
Well said. Damn. Honesty is the key to success.
Yes, it is.
So, with that said, where do you see yourself after graduating from Micah?
I would love to work in a studio. I feel like I would function best in a studio, and I just want to be honest with you guys for a second. Even though like Disney and Pixar have like run my world for a little bit. My brother and I, we were obsessed with Cars. When Cars, Lightning McQueen, ka-chow, like the fuck, Mater, and Mater, like listen, like you know that's Pixar and like Disney, with the Lion King and the Little Mermaid and stuff. I don't know, like they're to be admired, but I've never wanted to work for Disney or Pixar. No. I've never felt the need to work for Disney or Pixar. I've always either wanted to work at like Nickelodeon or Cartoon Network. So that's actually what I'm hoping. I'm hoping that I'm able to secure an internship over the summer at some place. That way, like when I go like hunting, because the thing is, when we went to the Cartoon Network information session. I found that they don't really have like a lot of internship opportunities, but they will have job opportunities and stuff. So I've got to make sure that my portfolio is up to par before I start applying, for some of the job openings that they will inevitably have, that sort of thing. So like I hope to land a job at Cartoon Network working on something, because like Cartoon Network was my life. I mean, Cartoon Network, like, for one, had Toonami. Like, beat that. Nick at Night, the fuck? Toonami. Dragon Ball Z. Vegeta's my favorite character. Anybody listening to this, like, Vegeta's the GOAT. But, like, yeah, I would love to work at Cartoon Network, not just because they had Toonami, but, like, they also had Samurai Jack. They also had Robot Jones. I'm not sure if anyone remembers that, but I fucking do. They had Symbionic Titan, which was unfortunately canceled for no reason. Series. Yeah, like, Cartoon Network is not pulling any punches. Nickelodeon pulls punches. I like that action stuff. Like I like shows that like delve deeper. I like darker shows, and Cartoon Network produces darker shows. So like I prefer to work there. However, I don't mind working at Nickelodeon either, because I have a disabled sister, and SpongeBob makes this bitch cackle. Like she just fucking cackles. Like you guys. I mean, you'd have to see her to see how she reacts, but, like, she's genuinely enjoying herself watching SpongeBob. And, like, there's somebody out there reacting the same way. So, Nickelodeon, I might have to work for them, too. So, that's what I plan on doing.
In that sense, you wouldn't want to work for Disney, but would you want to work for Disney Television Animation?
Oh, no. No, I don't know. Maybe I don't know what I'm saying because I'm not as researched into Disney, because I don't want to work for them per se, and hopefully this won't be used against me in court. But like I just think that like they use like a lot of like After Effects or like Flash animation like for their shows
Not
and stuff.
all their shows.
Not all of them, but the majority of the ones that I've seen that like caught like traction. I'm not talking about like Gravity Falls, because I think that was 2D animated like its entirety. I'm talking about like that new Lion King show, like Simba Jr. or Simba the Third.
I think that's Flash animation.
Yeah, that's Flash animation, or it might be 3D made to look like 2D animation. I don't know. I'm not particularly interested in that. I would rather work with the 2D medium.
I think Amphibia and the Owl House were animated, well, if not traditionally, then at least on like Toon Boom or something.
Probably.
Which is what some Cartoon Network shows are animated on.
Yeah, and I've got to learn Toon Boom. I wish Micah had more of Toon Boom. I wish we could teach the class.
It's really easy, though.
It is?
It's easier than Flash.
Oh, it is. Is it easier than TV Paint?
I haven't used TV Paint, so I can't compare, but I imagine that one's more efficient than the other.
Than the other? Okay, well, I guess I have to test that theory.
Exactly. Tune in next time on Animation Software Theory. All right, and my final question to you is, and I've asked this before on the previous podcast, but I think it's a really good question to end off on. So, be it personal or professional, what would you say have been both the toughest and proudest moments in your life, and how did they impact you?
Personal and professional. The toughest moments in my life and how they like affected me.
And proudest.
And proudest. Well, the toughest moment in my life was when I was in 5th grade and was attacked by my entire 5th grade class. About 60 people jumped me, essentially. I was pushed around in a circle and made fun of and called names, and someone hit me in the head with a basketball. And that forever changed the course of my life. I became terrified of people. I didn't know how to interact with other people. It gave me the anxiety that I have today and suffer from. So like people have always been bizarre to me, and I guess because I was attacked, I've just been on this quest to understand cruelty, which is why my work is there's horror elements to it, because people do things for whatever fucking reason, and that's always made me curious. Same thing where I like psychology. So that was really tough. And I was in 5th grade. I was 11. So like people are just like, oh, that happened to you in the 5th grade. But it totally shaped my life. I didn't know how to interact. I didn't know who I was. I didn't have any friends. I didn't know how to make them. And the bullying continued. I wasn't just attacked in the 5th grade. The bullying continued and stuff. So I guess because I was struggling with myself for a while, it was really refreshing to see and hear somebody on the radio be themselves. And so I credit Lady Gaga to that.
Yeah.
I credit Lady Gaga for me like coming out of my shell more, because I was a little fucking monster. I was a little monster. Like that's actually what her fans are called. So like not trying to say that I was a monster, but like I was a little monster, and I was proud of it, and she was proud of herself. And she has this far-reaching like platform and stuff, and she's not just for like the straight people, as you would say, right, but she's for the gays too. Like she born this way.
She sang a song at the Oscars that was basically a major shout out to the victims of sexual assault.
Yes, she's an incredibly powerful person. She's an incredibly talented woman. So I suppose falling in love with her music and trying to emulate her sort of changed the like course of my life, because it actually encouraged me to do the things that I enjoy, I suppose. Did that answer the question? Yeah,
the toughest aspects, but I guess to a degree that would also be a proud moment because it shaped you up. Not that would be the proudest moment. I don't know.
Well, I don't know if I have any like proud moments per se. That's really interesting. Like the question itself, like, do you have any proud moments? I mean, what am I proud of? I feel like my proudest moment was when I finally put the final period in my novel, Bunny Boy. And then I was even prouder when I published it on Amazon.com. And I was proudest when people I knew gave a damn about me enough to buy my book. Not only buy the damn thing, but read it and give me their feedback. And it took me 4 years to write Bunny Boy. And Bunny Boy, you guys are probably just like 4 years to write Bunny Boy. The fuck? Like,
No, that's common though.
Yeah, I mean, I just wanted to say it's not a story about Peter Rabbit. Like, it's not my take on Peter Rabbit. It's a psychological novel about a young boy who snaps, and you guys are watching his downfall into depravity. So at first you start off reading the book and you feel really sorry for my main character. His name is Ethan Limerick, by the way, which is particularly interesting. You feel really sorry for Ethan, and then like as the book progresses, you don't know how to feel about him anymore because you understand where he came from, but you see the direction that he's going in, and it's displeasing. It's actually downright disgusting. Mm-hmm. So I don't know. I loved writing the book. It took so much out of me, and so when I finally finished and was finally able to publish it and people read it and liked it, it was beyond nice. I just felt that like I had a story to tell and people cared enough to read about it. And it's still available for purchase. This is free. This is like advertising. Mm-hmm. But like I feel like my proudest moment was writing the book, because now that I've written one book, what's stopping me from writing my next? And I am writing my next.
Oh, so, great.
Yeah.
So that answers when the sequel is.
Oh, there's no sequel to Bunny Boy. That's never happening. In fact, if I could like go back and burn Bunny Boy, I would, because like what I wrote, honestly, the characters are so real and raw in that book. You guys might think I have issues because I wrote it, but like, yeah, no shame. But like, Bunny Boy is not getting a sequel. Like, that is never happening. My next story is about my next novel is about a young girl whose mother dies, and she lives with her aunt, who may or may not be a child-eating demon that she must vanquish by eating. So yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, for the record, don't go back and burn Bunny Boy, because then you wouldn't have improved.
Then I wouldn't have improved? Oh boy, you guys are gonna judge me so hard if you read my books. Just like, why is that in there? Like,
I've read and watched some pretty disturbing stuff. I can probably take it.
You can probably take it? Well, I got a copy of the book. Do you want it? Do you want to read it?
Do I have to pay for it?
You have to pay for it? No, the copy that I have, I've already purchased. I lend it out to people who are curious about the book.
Okay.
And stuff, so.
Well, fall break's coming up, so
yeah,
maybe.
I feel like you might like it.
All right, I'll give it a read, and you should too. If you want to purchase it, just go to Amazon.
Yep, Amazon.com. Bunny Boy, capped in all caps. It's the novel with the boy surrounded by eyeballs.
Sweaty eyeballs.
Which we just were at.
It was beautiful.
Mm-hmm. My first animation festival.
Yeah. And that is it. That is going to do it for this week. There will not be a podcast next week because fall break. But for now, I hope you all enjoyed this. So, Titilayo, to anyone listening, where can they find you?
Where can they find me? Well,
via social media.
Via social media? Okay, so if you type in, like, on social media, war, as in the act of war, god of war, because I feel like people may not understand how I'm saying. So if you type in war _ torn, as in to tear, torn bunny, that's my art Instagram account. I guess you can follow me on my Tumblr. I am DMonster Motherforker. I don't feel like spelling that. I guess maybe if you guys are so inclined, shoot Eli a message or so that he can spell it for you. But like, you can find me on my Instagram, war _ torn bunny, and bunny is spelled correctly, Bunny.
I thought it was spelled Bunnie. I was fooled.
Yeah, that's like Playboy Bunny.
All right, so that's gonna do it for now. I hope you all enjoyed this. And for the love of God, people, even though it's midterms, don't kill yourselves, please. But until next time, that's all, folks.
Bye-bye.